Let's start this one off swimmingly as we try and ace the show. We hope that you think this one will be a hit, so huddle up and decide. Everyone wants to hustle so they don't miss a minute of this one. Run for daylight. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Spiro. We a couple of sports back in the fold.
Yeah, it's all back, and everybody competing really just this week, the only time that we will have all the fall sports competing at the same time, because as football and volleyball get back to action, others are pretty much wrapping the season up.
Yeah, so it'll just continue over from everything we've done right into football. A little more football. We'll get to do a little more volleyball. Very exciting time.
Well, the football team made its long-awaited return on Friday night, hosting a formidable opponent from St. Thomas Academy. Cadets were state runners-up the past 2 seasons, and last year they were the only team to shut out the Cardinals state tournament team. Both would be looking for a fast start to this long-delayed and shortened season. St. Thomas Academy marches right down to the end zone on their opening possession, 3rd and goal from the 14. Swing pass to Danny McFadden. He races to the corner, gets the Cadets on the board. McFadden had a fantastic first half. Second possession, he gets to the end zone again, this time running up the middle from the 7. St. Thomas Academy is rolling up 14-0 with all guns firing. Coon Rapids offense, meanwhile, some misfires to start. A couple bad snaps in the first quarter. This one was over the head of Gavin Tom in the end zone. Jeebly recovers, but it's a safety for St. Thomas. So they cash in on offense again. Early in the second, it's McFadden one more time. This time on the sweep, Cadets up 23-0, just 30 seconds into the second quarter. Cardinals' only real highlight of the game comes on 3rd and 10. Screen pass to David Jeebly, and he waves his way through some traffic and then outraces the entire Cadets defense. A 70-yard catch and run for Jeebly. He had a nice game in the loss, but the Cardinals did get the 2-point conversion and made it 23-8. But that's all the closer they would get. Cadets get to the end zone on their first 5 possessions of the game. Love Adebayo showing off his speed on this 61-yard scamper. That made it 37-8 at the half. St. Thomas added a couple more touches in the second and coasted to a 51-8 victory. And here's a look at what else happened around the Suburban Blue. Hopkins a blowout victory over Apple Valley. Park Center losing handily to Irondale. Forest Lake, who the Cardinals will travel to take on this week, loses to Tartan 23-20. And Spring Lake Park in a close one, losing to Becker 20-13.
You know, they knew starting off the season it was going to be a tough matchup. St. Thomas Academy, very good. They lost 17 starters from their offense and their defense, and they still reloaded and played well. So, you know, I know the football. We were over talking to the guys today, and they'll take what they learned on the things that the mistakes they made and build upon them, and then grow from the ththings that they liked.
Well, and they got beat by this same St. Thomas Academy squad last year to start the season. Lost 34-0. They were never shut out again, and they went on to their first state tournament appearance since 1983. Went all the way to the state semifinals. You know, losing week 1 is not the worst thing that can happen.
No, and you just shake it off and you continue, because now you go. You're probably not gonna play a team the same caliber of St. Thomas Academy the rest of the way. So it's an opportunity for them just to push it aside and move forward.
Well, they are at Forest Lake this Friday. They will host Spring Lake Park next Friday, and of course, both of those games will be right here on CTN.
Well, the volleyball team also started its long-delayed season last week, opening at home on Thursday night. The Cardinals had a solid season last year, and we're hoping to build on that in 2020. While the focus is now about being able to play, they were still looking to start strong against a team they beat twice last year. Spring Lake Park at the barn for the opener, and the Cardinals take advantage of a weak pass in the first set. Becca Masteller hammering it home from the left side, all tied at 20. Panthers grabbing the momentum at the right time, though. Solid serve receive. Quick set goes to Kylie Ferguson. She fires it through the block, helping Spring Lake Park to a 25-21 win in the first. Second set now, Coon Rapids with a solid turn off the serve. Back set will go to Bella Bresnahan. She pushes it back to the back line, but the Cardinals trail most of set two. Spring Lake Park serving for a 2-set lead. Coon Rapids not able to set up an attack. The Panthers can go back to Ferguson on the left side, this time straight to the corner. A 25-16 win for the Panthers. They're on the verge of a sweep. Cardinals weren't having any of that, not in their house. Watch the defense in the middle. Bella Bresnahan to Michaela Wilbur. Put up the wall, get the block, an early 7-3 lead. Still in the third set, Coon Rapids in complete control. Nicole Post takes over on this point. First the stuff at the net, then the Cardinals set her up in the middle. She does not disappoint. Cards cruise to a 25-9 win in the third. Another close contest in set number 4. Cardinals fighting to stay alive, but they're not able to get much on this attack from midcourt, and the Panthers pounce on the opportunity, going back to Ferguson in the middle. She gets a block to the floor for the match point. A 25-23 win for the Panthers in the fourth, and they win the match.
Cardinals hit the road for the first time on Monday, taking on a Rogers team that finished just ahead of them in the conference last season. These two teams did not play each other last year, but both return a strong senior group that is looking to move up in the standing. Coon Rapids on the attack early in the first. Quick set to Nicole Post in the middle. She fires to the floor for the point, but the Cardinals trailing through most of that first set, and it's hard to dig out of a hole when the Royals come with this kind of attack. Bryn Raines with a kill on the left side. Royals take the first 25-14. Cardinals trying to keep it closer in the second. Great diving save by Audrey Anderson. Cardinals set up Michaela Wilbur on the left. She gets the kill. Cardinals still trailing. Second set still good battle at the net for Nicole Post, eventually forcing it to the floor. Post's presence at the net a key for the Cardinals this season. Cardinals trying to avoid going down 2-0. Becca Mastiller pushes this one across for the point. Wasn't pretty, but it counted. Unfortunately, they still lose set 2, 25-15. Cardinals turn up the tempo in the third, trying to avoid the sweep. Mastiller with a bullet to the back line for the point early on. Coon Rapids doing everything they can. Seda Green wins the battle at the net and keeps hopes alive. Match point for Rogers, a diving save, and Post tries to jam it through the middle, but the Royals are ready. They get the stuff, and they complete the sweep with a 28-26 victory in the third.
First couple of sets, Rogers played really well, and they obviously went on some runs in their service game, which really was the key for that win. Set number 3, very different. And the Cardinals, it was back and forth the entire way. And it was a heartbreak because they had the opportunity to get that one and keep this match alive. Unfortunately, Rogers did enough to get that win and, as you mentioned, got the sweep.
Well, their matches obviously limited this season, but this is still very early on, just 2 games into their schedule. They will host Osseo on Wednesday and be at Totino Grace next Monday. With the win over Cooper last week, the tennis team continued its journey through the section consolation bracket. On Monday, the Cardinals hosting the other team from Robbinsdale, the Armstrong Falcons. It would be a battle to the end to see who would advance to the consolation final on Wednesday. Captain Caitlin Severson at first singles, facing a girl she lost to 1-6-0-6 early in the season. Great approach to the net to win this point. She plays a strong match but loses 3-6, 5-7. Second singles, Ella Georgie in the near court for the Cardinals. She gets a strong start, winning the opening set, but comes up short in 3-6-4, 0-6, 4-6. Katie Hinn possibly had her best match of the season against Armstrong. She controls the court on this point. Her patient play helped her to a dominant 6-0, 6-1 victory. Abby Ness at fourth singles, and I just realized I stole Howie's reading.
Yeah, you're reading back.
She sees her opportunity to get to the net here. Takes full advantage, but Ness loses in straight sets, 1-6, 6-7. Kelsey Goldman serving at first doubles. Emily Nicholas takes care of the return. Quick point, Goldman and Nicholas win 7-5, 6-3. They'll be a strong pairing for the Cards next year. Rowan Tom and Mary Olson in the far court at second doubles. Olson serves, Tom finishes. They win a nail-biter, 7-5, 6-7, 10-6. Gabby Newton and Nina Weimholt are the Cardinals' third doubles team against Armstrong. Weimholt with the quick reaction for the point, but Newton and Weimholt lose 4-6, 1-6. Cardinal season comes to an end with a 4-3 loss. They lost 5 matches by a 4-3 score this year.
Now I'm going to do mine. I'll do it again, but I'll do it in Spanish. So
if you can do that, I would be very impressed. I would be very impressed.
that's okay, Joe.
You can
just keep going. I just keep reading. In fact, you can do my last one as well if you want.
You can do it. I tell you what, you can do the cross country.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Just to be fair.
No, go ahead. That's all right. We don't want to throw the show off.
You can do swimming.
I am going to do swimming.
How about you do the first swimming? The tennis team, that is the end. They did not make it to the consolation finals. So just go ahead.
Okay, there are only a couple events left for swimming and diving season. Last Thursday, the Cardinals were hosting the Osseo Orioles. From the very start, we knew this battle of the birds go right down to the wire. Both teams have some top-level speed, so it would be really up to the depth to pull the Cardinals through. Orioles won the opening relay, but the Cardinals put some heavy hitters at the top of their lineup. Second event is a 200 free, and junior Ella Hacker runs away with the win. She's in at 2 minutes, 0.4 seconds, 14 seconds ahead of second place. Senior Megan Schultz owns every record in the pool in school history, and she's in the 200 IM against Osseo. It's another dominant victory. Schultz tags up in 210.36. Cards take third and fifth and have the lead, but there are several lead changes and ties in this one. Cards down 14 points midway through, but they started the comeback in the 500 free. It's Hacker again, and again, she's all alone. Hacker lapped all but second place, winning in a time of 5:22.13. The Cardinals won the next 4 events, including a big one, 1-2 finish in the 100 backstroke. Sophomore Eleanor Defoe sets the pace with a winning time of 1:10.69, and freshman Trinity Hooten wasn't far back, taking second. So the match was tied at 86, all going to the final event, setting up a winner-take-all 400 freestyle relay. Cardinals opened with freshman Madeline Picott. She was followed by junior Emma Schmidt. The Cardinals stacked the back end of the relay with Hacker and Schultz. There was no way they would be denied. They sealed the victory with an impressive time of 3:56.24. Cardinals took third as well for a 96-90 final score.
Yeah, it was good to see them get the win. It was exciting for it to go all the way to the finish. Yep. It's a win they really wanted, one they got as a team, and a lot of points being scored by freshmen, sophomores, and that's great news for the future of this program.
Always fun when you're tied at the last event and you know that event's going to determine the winner. And Coon Rapids did a really nice job of capturing.
Unless you look over and in the next lane, your opponent has Ella Hacker and Megan Schultz as the back half of their relay. Then it's not so exciting.
Right. Well, the swimming and diving team is competing in its final dual meet of the season tonight. They'll have 10 days off to get ready for the sections. There will be no state tournament, so it'll be the last race for the Cardinals, including the end to an amazing high school career. And while it'll be different, it almost didn't happen.
I mean, it was up in the air. We had no idea. Being an indoor sport, that was the concern.
The threat of cancellation loomed large over the fall sports throughout most of the summer. Club swimmers weren't able to train and compete as they normally would, and they didn't know if the high school season would happen.
I was really concerned for a while that we wouldn't have a season. And I'm super happy that we get to be here even with the different rules.
The Cardinals' first few meets were virtual. They were at their pool, their opponent at theirs. There are no fans in the stands, masks are mandatory on the deck, and in-person meets that they don't race every other lane, but on separate halves of the pool.
It's not going to be the same, and it hasn't been the same, but I'm just happy that we got the chance to still have in-person meets.
The extra regulations have changed the energy in the pool and can, at times, seem burdensome. But they're the steps that must be taken to continue to race through the water.
I think we've done the things we need to do, and that's encouraging as well. And it just goes to show that, if we take the right precautions and we're being safe, I think we can get through this.
The Cardinals have a strong senior class, including a young lady that joined as a 7th grader and took notice of the school record board. She made it her mission to get her name up there as many times as possible, and as a junior, claimed all 11 school swimming records.
And I just kind of, each year, I kept working for them and thinking about okay, how can we do it? And they were just kind of goal times for me. And it's really exciting to every time I break a record. And I'm really grateful that I was able to do that.
Megan will miss out on a 4th straight trip to state, which is disappointing, but she will push herself for personal bests in all her section races to finish on a high note. She will leave behind an impressive legacy, and there are a number of her teammates that are ready to carry the torch.
Obviously, having, a Megan Schultz on your team where she has every school record, it's a phenomenal opportunity for others to learn from her and see what she does every day, because she's gone next year.
The Cardinals will return a couple of other girls who have already had impressive careers in their own right. And a number of younger athletes have stepped up this season to help them score at every grade level. The Cardinals just hope to finish this season strong and see more things return to normal in the near future.
Just hope for the best. Hope that maybe in a couple months we can have more of a senior year, and if not, it's okay. But I think we just have to keep our hopes high. But I just kind of hope that I get to walk across the stage in the spring. That's just my goal for sure.
And that would be great to see. I would love to watch the class of 2021 have a somewhat normal finish to the year. Keeping hope and staying positive, definitely a great message. And taking what you can and being appreciative of what you do have rather than sad for what you don't.
Kids are so resilient, and when you listen to them, and I think every message that we've on our Spotlight series that we've recorded was the fact that we're just so happy to be able to be out here and compete, and that's really the key. And everybody's feeling the same way. It's not the season you want, but at least it's a season.
Yep. So they are going head-to-head against Armstrong tonight. The Cardinals will host the 7AA championship match next Friday and Saturday. It'll be very different than before. 4 teams on Friday, 4 teams on Saturday. There will be no prelims, just finals, and then they will match up all the numbers and see who won. Yep. So, again, it's not ideal, it's not typical, it's not normal, but it is a way for them to crown a section champion. Yep. And hoping, along with Megan has a good chance, obviously, to finish her season or in her career as a section champion, but some others as well, Ella Hacker, Emma Schmidt, some others that have a legitimate shot.
They really do. They've got some very fine swimmers.
Cross country team had its Northwest Suburban Conference Championships. A lot of changes for cross country running as well. Instead of having the 14 teams in the conference out there, they ran against one other team. Teams went out in groups of 3 or 2 in their case. It makes it kind of hard to judge how fast you need to go, how to keep pace with the leaders. But the Cardinals did respectably. Andre Kemboy was 43rd overall, Peyton Martinick in 51st, Brian Powley in 81st, Aaron Casey in 88th, and Joseph Dunn was in 93rd place. The girls finished in 13th overall. Ilsa Hoagland was their top finisher in 28th. Zoe Hoagland was back in 56th. Lila Gilliard in 79th. Ash Cochiarella was in 82nd. And Mackenzie finished 93rd place with a time of 25 minutes, 22.40 seconds. And the cross-country team will run its final race of the year on Thursday at the section meet. It hasn't been the year they had hoped for, like a broken record, but it's the one they got, and they're making the best of it. The Cardinals worked hard for the chance to compete, and they plan to finish as strong as they can.
It's a lot different, but it's still really fun.
The cross-country season looks a lot different than it did a year ago. There are fewer races, restrictions on numbers, and wave starts to keep teams spread out. Most of the Cardinals are multi-sport athletes who lost out on last spring, but they understand the decision.
I felt that was the safer thing to do because you can't really socially distance that well at track, especially when we didn't really know much about social distancing then.
In June, the Cardinals were able to return to some sort of normal. They changed how they ran, but still got together to get everyone ready for the season.
I think over the summer we were really good at staying safe and socially distant, but also getting all the hard work we need to get in.
Even with the season still in doubt, the Cardinals captain said they had a lot of support and enthusiasm at their summer sessions.
There was a good amount of people, even the new guys that were showing up, a lot of the younger guys in middle school and whatnot, coming to the high school practices.
They trained hard, not knowing whether it would pay off in the end. But eventually they got the news they were hoping for. The cross-country season could go on.
When we found out, it was pretty good because we put a lot of work in over the summer, but yeah, it was nice to hear that we would get to race.
There were still a lot of questions about what those races would look like. The MSHSL worked out guidelines to keep the athletes as safe as possible and still allow them to compete.
It wasn't until, just prior to the season starting that we really had a better understanding of what we were going to do. And then it was pretty much, we got to get going right away.
Meets have a very different feel. Social distancing regulations means fewer kids on the course at a time. Still, the chance to be out and competing is a much-needed release for high school athletes.
It's really refreshing just being able to take a break from the stress of online school and hang out with people that I like to be around.
The pandemic has taught these kids about how privileged they are to have this opportunity. Most public races have become virtual or they've been canceled altogether.
So it's like there's a lot of people that want to race, they don't get to. These guys get that opportunity to go out there once a week and race.
Like most people, the Cardinals wish things were different. They wish things could get back to normal. But now they know how precious the little things can be.
It's a little sad, but I can't really change it, so you just gotta kind of adapt and take it for what it is and still enjoy the little things that we do get, like having the season, just enjoy that. Getting to go into school a couple of days a week, for some people, still enjoy that, so yeah.
What happens over the remainder of the school year will depend on the community's ability to slow the spread. As of now, it looks as though winter and spring sports will happen, as long as the Anoka County numbers stay low.
We'll have to see. It's, in this time, everything's kind of questionable, but I'm really excited to see what comes, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to have it as normal as possible.
The Cardinals will finish out the cross-country season and keep their fingers crossed that things get better rather than worse, because they know nothing is guaranteed.
Now we know it could be taken away at any moment, so we need to give it our all in the moment.
A great message, as it all is dependent on those infection rates. If it goes over 30 per 100,000 or 30 per 10,000, whatever it is, they could reinstitute distance learning and cancel all sports. So the fingers stay crossed.
Yes.
Things are going well. We're almost through most of the fall season, and we do have back football and volleyball, and we'll keep our fingers crossed and follow them as far as we can go, as long as it is, things stay going in the right direction. Hopefully we'll be talking more and more about things getting back to normal as we move through the winter and into the spring seasons.
Well, and again, the message is the same throughout. It says we're just so fortunate to be here, and the fact that we compete and be with our friends and get some sort of level of competition, it's great. I mean, it really is.
Well, we are enjoying the opportunity to bring all the action to you, especially those games that have very restricted fan regulations, not able to get everybody in. Before we move on to that, section tournaments for the soccer teams announced this over the weekend. Blaine is the number 1 seed for the boys. They will host Cambridge Isani. Coon Rapids, the number 7 seed, will head to number 2 Andover. Duluth East, number 3, taking on Anoka, and Centennial hosting Forest Lake in the quarterfinal round on Wednesday. On the girls' side, same matchup for the...
It's not right, is it?
No, because Coon Rapids should be going to Andover.
Yep.
Andover is now the number 3, Blaine the number 2. So just flip-flop Blaine and Andover there. Centennial still is number 1, and we'll get Cambridge Isani. And, well, at least the Anoka teams can travel together as they both head up to
Duluth.
to Duluth East. Coon Rapids teams both at Andover. I believe the boys are at 5, girls are at 6. The Andover group, or they have television coverage, so CTN will not be there.
You made that trip one year up to Duluth with the soccer team, I remember.
I have made it with them.
Brought the camera?
Watch sections.
Yeah, brought the camera.
I did indeed. So now, as I was saying, as this show has completely gone off the rails, we enjoy being a part of it, and we're going to bring you as much as we can. We've got football coming at you from the stands at Forest Lake High School.
Yes.
Tune in for that live at 7 o'clock on Friday. Volleyball on Monday from Totino Grace, and then volleyball against the Anoka Tornadoes next Thursday, the 22nd, live at 7 o'clock. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us to continue to support everything we do here at CTN for the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro and Tom Cornell behind the camera. I'm Joe Young saying goodnight.